Hi there, mamas and daddies. I am so glad you're joining us today for parenting coaching tips. I'm Kathy Baker, and I am going to share with you some thoughts today about proactive parenting versus reactive parenting. So today we want to focus on parenting as a long-term investment and not a short-term one. That means that you begin to think with the end in mind. You want to parent with the goal of bringing up those children to be responsible and independent and self-motivated and self-starting adults. So that means you want to be proactive and not reactive in your approach to discipline. Now that sounds really good, doesn't it? But I know it's hard and it's a challenge. But parenting is challenging and it is hard very often, and it does require a lot of time and a lot of preparation. That's proactive parenting. So when situations arise with your children that require your attention, which one are you? Are you reactive or proactive? Let's get a closer look. Reactive means that really there's no prep work required. You just show up and you react to the circumstances. Whatever is happening, you just say or do whatever comes natural to you. Well, that could work sometimes, and other times it doesn't. Sometimes it includes yelling or name calling or getting out of sorts in some way, and maybe even getting out of control. So reactive parenting often results in yelling and getting everybody agitated, yourself and your children as well. The kids will react, but it's basically out of intimidation, but not out of honor and respect. So reactive parenting gets action, but it's really not effective in the long haul. Well, here's proactive parenting. You intentionally choose your reactions. It means you pause for a moment. You take advantage of that little gap that God gave us so that you have a stimulus coming at you, an angry child, a disobedient child, somebody's not doing what you ask them to do, and then that moment where you respond. There is a gap that God gave us. So you use that and you deliberately practice choosing positive and assertive responses. Those are the key elements of being proactive. You deliberately choose to act positively and assertively. That didn't say aggressively. It said assertively. You become very focused and attentive. Being an intentional proactive parent means that you are looking at the end goal, and that's bringing up those kids who are going to be independent, responsible, and respectful. Being proactive means you have to become more strategic. And here's what I like to think about. You become more curious, more thoughtful. Curious meaning that you begin to wonder, well, why is it they continue to act the way they do? If your children continually disobey or continually argue or continually provoke, you become curious about what is going on here. You become much more thoughtful. Now this takes self-control and it takes a lot of practice, and it means having a toolkit of strategies and using them appropriately. You can go back and look at other lessons I've taught on strategies. They will be helpful, and going forward I'm going to be giving quite a few more strategies to use to help you become more proactive. Unfortunately, most parents tend to get reactionary in response to their children. We all have those negative triggers from time to time, but a time of reflection allows us to think about what is the most effective response. You see, animals have trigger responses. They have reflexes that allow them to respond without any thought. On the other hand, human beings are the only known species that have these highly developed communication skills. We're able to reflect and make judgments about our actions and the actions of other people. God designed us that way. He gave us the ability to make moral choices, reasonable choices. And God has given his most valued creation, us, something more, that ability to pause between the action and our response. We get to choose how we respond. Even in a split second, we can ask ourselves, now, what is my goal in this situation? If there's nothing that you take away from this lesson today, but that question, that would be very helpful. What is my goal in this situation? And these are possible goals. Do I want to prove myself right? Or do I want to work on this relationship and do the right thing? When your child is disobedient, become curious by trying to figure out the why. Figure out what is going on. Why don't you figure out, has my child become lazy, or is he consistently whiny, or does she always neglect chores? And so you begin to find the pattern. Becoming proactive means you want to determine the why of behavior. Find the pattern of behavior. Figure out what is missing if this behavior is consistent. The child is consistently whiny. Why? What is going on? Is this a character issue? Probably. If bad behavior is consistent, there will be a character issue underneath that. And that means it's a heart issue that you want to dig and probe and figure out how to fix the heart issue and how to lead the child to fix the heart issue in order to move forward in the discipline and the behavior portion. Proactive parenting means you dig in to understand the child, and then you coach the child from there. Do you need to teach your child how to follow instructions, for example? That may be the lesson that you need to teach. When I give you instructions, here's how it looks, here's how it works, and this is my expectation. And then you practice it. Do you need to clarify your expectations? And so those are things to consider with proactive parenting. I give lots of strategies and lots of tips in previous lessons and in the ones to come. So I hope you'll tune into those. If you spend time being command control central in your home and you shout out orders, then you are neglecting teaching your children the values and skills needed to handle the responsibility of growing up. So we want to be proactive parents and not just reactive parents. This takes a lot of work and planning and practice. So I hope this has been helpful to you today. And please give comments or give me responses and feedback. I'd love to hear your questions. I will be responsive and get back to you. And otherwise, have a great parenting day.